Hey there, welcome to the latest episode of Hiker Homily, maybe even Hyper Homily, who knows? But I'm a little hyper. I am. I'm a little hyper because I'm finally outside getting some more hiking in and stuff like that. So for this episode of Hiker Homily, we're going to talk about what for some, of course, it's no surprise in the hiker world, we invent controversy sometimes, is a controversial topic, and that is the topic of, are our cell phones, our smartphones specifically, a necessary tool for hiking? I'm going to go over some pros and cons that support and detract from that. But ultimately, it's going to be your choice because that's how the world works, or should anyway. So anyway, hyper and hiker homily coming up. So, the pros first. Hikers, at least most of the really good, consistent, successful hikers that I know and have seen either on various social medias or met out on the trail, tend to like devices that are multitasking. And let me tell you, the smartphone is the ultimate multitasker. I mean, we've taken things like our trekking poles, and not only are those useful for helping heavy guys like me, older guys, getting up the hills and sometimes even coming down, take some weight off the knees and things like that. But for a lot of people, they're also tent poles. And so, yeah, multitasking. This bad boy here helps with perspiration. I can do that if I need it for, nowadays on the trail. Not to mention the fact I may even do a whole hiker homily. There's more than just the current reasons why most people wear masks. There's a lot more reasons for mask wearing, even on the trail, and things like that. But there you go. This is a handkerchief, a mask, a bandana. It can be a tourniquet if you need it to, if you know how to do it. So multitasking as much as we can. The smartphone nowadays is the ultimate multitasker. For a lot of people, it is their camera and video camera rolled into one. If you have the right apps, it can be your map and navigator, your water report, your weather report, your communication to the outside world and family and things like that. So right there, that's how many different things? So it is quite the multitasker. So in that way, I can see it being very positive. So kind of like the apps or maps video I did, I kind of like, yeah, why not both? Usually for me, it's not the only thing I carry as a navigation tool. I always have a compass with me, always have a map of the area I'm in with me when I'm hiking, especially in larger areas. For like a simple day hike like now, this is a well-marked trail that has maps on the trail itself, very, very nice ones. I still have a compass with me in case I get turned around, which is hard to do in Consumnes River Preserve. But yeah, so I'll carry both of those things, but I don't have to carry a big heavy camera or a video camera. It's in my little phone, and they're not weight prohibitive. It's another good thing about that. Another pro is most smartphones now are of a size that they're convenient. You can slip them in a little hip pocket, or even in a shirt pocket and your pants pocket, and they're not very very weighty at all. They don't really add a whole lot to your base weight or anything like that. And yet what you get out of them is that whole list of things that I listed before. So there's some good cons there to saying yes to a smartphone being a needed essential thing on the trail. Now for some of the cons for a smartphone. The first and most obvious one. Smartphones are energy dependent. So that means you have a limited use out of them before the battery is down. Most smartphones nowadays can go quite a while, most of the day, without a recharge. But still, if you're on a multi-day backpacking trip, it's going to be affected, right? And so you're either going to have limited time with them until the battery is down, or you do have to carry some other equipment with it, not the least of which would be a power bank or a solar cell or something like that, and a cord to attach them. So there's that drawback. The other drawback is, it's the same as if I was carrying some of my other gear, like say a map and things like that. It can be damaged. And once damaged, unlike a map, if I damage my map, well, that sucks. I hope I know where I'm going. I can still do some orienteering with my compass, and I should be okay trying to figure out local landmarks. Hopefully I've studied where I'm at and know where I'm going. But losing my map, okay. But since I went over that whole list of the pros, all the things a smartphone can do, if you damage your smartphone and it doesn't work anymore, you've now lost not just one thing, but all of those things. So that can be a big con. And then the other con is, if you are using it, a lot of the apps you can for navigation often work on GPS satellite signals and things. So cell signal isn't a big deal, but if it is your primary means of communication with family and things like that, there are some places you're going to go hiking where you aren't going to be able to rely on it. It's not going to work. Its signal is going to be blocked. And so at least that aspect of your smartphone, the communication aspect, will be useless. But you'll still be able to take pictures and videos and all that good stuff. So there's pros and cons there. For me, as usual, I kind of land right in the middle. Would I pull the trigger and say absolutely essential gear? No. Because I'll tell you right now, a lot of my backpacking experience, especially when I was younger and first started in the 80s and through the 90s, there was no smartphones with all these fancy gadgets on it. None. So we hiked all the time without them. You were just out of communication, and you had to bring a camera with you if you wanted pictures. That's just how it was. So, and I can get along without the GPS maps. I know how to read a map. I know how to do orienteering and all that. I learned how to do that when I was younger. So I'm not going to say it's absolutely essential, but I'm not going to pretend that they are not a useful multi-tool. I carry mine with me, not just because I do videos like this to put them on YouTube and all these places, but because they are a helpful multi-tool that can communicate with the outside world most of the time if I need to. I can get some pictures and videos, even if it's not for social media or anything like that, just for myself, my own journal, things like that. I'll take pictures. I take pictures all the time that never make it to YouTube or Facebook or any of those things. They're for me, for my journal. That's where they go. So not going to say they're 100% essential, but in this modern day and age, I got to say that they are a pretty helpful device to have with you on the trail for various reasons. I know you're always going to get those old school folks out there. Rah, rah, rah. Just think about the pioneers. They didn't have no cell phones, blah, 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 blah. And then the irony of them typing all of that on a internet social media network instead of writing a letter about it is completely over their head. They don't get it. But yeah, not 100% essential. You can go hiking and have a great time hiking without your smartphone. Does a smartphone help for a lot of things? I really think it does. I really do. So there you go. That's my take on it. Have your own take. What do you think? Give me some comments down below or at hikingforhealthca@gmail.com. Other than that, I'm going to continue walking through one of my favorite simple, easy hikes, Cosumnes River Preserve. Always liking it out here, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, by the way.